Hello and welcome to another edition of the Family Business here at Sooner Scoop HQ. I'm Joe Castiglione Jr. with my co-host Isaac Stoops, and we have a really special guest today. We got OU legend, former Biletnikoff winner, Dede Westbrook. Dede, how's it going?
Yo, what's really going down? Man, it's nothing, man. Thank you guys for having me.
No, we appreciate having you here. You know, we're going to chop it up a little bit. We're kind of going to go all different, levels of your career today, and talk about, just really your story, you know. So let's just hop right into OU. You came to OU.
Yeah.
First year with Lincoln.
Right.
You turned up and said, I'm going to go do this thing. So year one with Baker, you had like 700 yards, but 2016 was crazy,
Right.
1,700 yards. Just tell me about that, a little bit coming into OU. Kind of find your feet a little bit, and then
Okay, man, I'm gonna talk about the process of kind of getting here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Just because initially to start, man, it was pretty crazy, right? So, growing up, I've never really been a big football guy ever. It was just kind of something I just happened to be good at, and kind of just took it and ran with it. But never really a fan of football. Never really watched it growing up. Never really was a part of it. But I ended up having kids at an early age. You know what I'm saying? I had 3 kids coming out of high school, I believe. Well, that was my junior year. I was probably 16, 17 years old. So for me, I was kind of looking at it like, well, shit, man. I got 3 kids. How the hell, no regular job is going to, help me provide for these 3 kids, me being 16, 17 years old. So I was like, I got to figure something out, right? And so that's when I started taking football a little more serious, right? Which was, I felt as if it was my gift. So, man, started playing ball then. First receiver in a really long time in high school that went for 1,000 yards, you know what I'm saying? And ended up getting different offers coming out of high school to go. I think I had 7 offers coming out, and it was Baylor, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Wyoming, some pretty nice schools. But the biggest thing was my grades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have the grades to go and compete at the next level. So I'm like, well, shit, where do I go now? What do I do now? So I ended up going to Bland Junior College, which was about 40 minutes away. I'm sure if you guys don't know where Bland is, Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Remember when he left Florida, he went to Brenham.
And remind us where you're from again?
Cameron, Texas.
Yeah, okay.
So it's Central Texas, small town. Hate to say it, but it's 40 minutes from Austin.
Okay.
40 minutes from Bryan College Station. You know what I'm saying? South, I'm right in the middle of all of those. So end up taking the trip, man. End up going to Bland Junior College. My first year there, man, I become a freshman All-American, right? It's freshman All-American. I get to about December. Everybody know in December time, it's finals time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's time for finals. And I get a call from the mother of my children, and she was kind of on some yeah, Dede, man, I don't think it's fair that you get to go off and kind of live out your dream while I'm stuck here raising kids, And for me, I'm like, well, shit, you do kind of got a point, what you think I should do? Mm-hmm. She was like, well, yeah, you probably need to come home and help take care of kids. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, fuck it. I quit. You know what I'm saying? So I just quit football, walked away from it. Freshman All-American, just went for 1,000 yards freshman year, coming straight out of high school. Left, right? Coach is calling, Dede, you got finals you're not going to take, man. This is more important to me, my kids, right? Yeah. So I leave. I go home. I'm home for about maybe 3 or 4 months, bro, doing absolutely nothing. When I say nothing, I'm walking around town in a wife beater, muscle shirt, basketball shorts with thong flip-flop slippers.
Oh, Old Navy ones?
No socks. That was me.
Puppies
right?
are out.
It was bad. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, my coach called. He was like, man, what are you doing? And I was like, man, it's not what I thought. I was thinking I was going to come home, get a job, and help provide for my kids. But, man, it got to the point where my daughter, she was I pretty much raised her because her mother was working. So I became a stay-at-home dad, so to say. And I was I don't know how to cook still to this day. It's probably bad, whatever. Judge me later. But didn't know how to cook, And so my daughter came up to me and was like, Dad, I'm hungry. I ain't even have $5 in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? To go feed my daughter. So I was like, yeah, man, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I came home, the mother of my children came home, and I kind of told her, this isn't the life that I envisioned for myself. This is not what I want. So that being said, I'm going back to school. So go back. They counted that year as a red shirt. So I was below, my GPA was like a 1.4. Like it was horrible because I had left. Yeah. Right. So we spent that year. They was like, well, Dede, we're going to let you back on the football team. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, but you got to get a 2.0 GPA and obviously a 2.5 in order for you to transfer out. So I spent that whole semester just grinding, like hammering. Like I moved back to Brenham, got me an apartment up there.
They gave you a scholarship back?
Right. But they couldn't give me a scholarship back because I was under the
GPA threshold.
You know what I'm saying? Right,
yeah.
right. So I had to go and kind of pay for it on my own. You know what I mean? So my girlfriend at the time was working 2 jobs. Helped me pay for it, man. Like, grind it. You know what I'm saying? We was out there grinding. Like, I'm going to school. She was working 2 jobs. Like, helped me pay for it. And, man, pretty much by the grace of God, like, that red shirt year got up to a 2.0, ended up playing, right? So now that I'm playing, like, you know, I'm balling. You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy.
Going crazy.
Like, going crazy. So, ended up having, like, 8 catches. What was it? Like, 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. Or not 8 catches, I'm sorry. We played in 8 games.
I was going to say, damn.
We played in 8 games, I'm sorry. We played in 8 games. I had like 76 catches with 1,400 yards with like 13 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was the number one football, like blend junior college football player in the nation. And it was so crazy to the point where those numbers that I had, my coaches was trying to advocate that they were good enough for me to win a Heisman or go and like win a Biletnikoff and those type of awards because their argument was, this is a college.
Little did they know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. But, like, it came to this, right? And so, of course, at this time, like, different coaches are coming. One of the coaches that stuck out to me, man, was Dennis Simmons. I'm sure we all know. We all know Coach Simmons. So, Coach Simmons comes in from Washington State, right? He flies in. He's sitting cool as ever. And I'm like, what's up, coach? He was like, hey, man, how you doing? You know, of course, I explained my situation to him. I was like, where are you located? He was like, man, I'm in Washington State. I was like, man, I've never even been out of the state of Texas before ever in my life, you know? And I was like, I really don't want to waste your time, but, man, I got 3 kids. So me going out to Washington.
It ain't going to work.
It's not going to work. Like, I've never been on a flight before. Like, I'm not going that far away from home. Like, I'm 40 minutes from my home now. And he was like, man, he was like, before this is all over with, I'm going to coach you. And I was just like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The hell that's supposed to mean?
Like, how that gonna work
when
out?
He says something,
right.
He means it.
Yeah. And so that's what he was like, man, before this is all over with, I'm going to coach you. And I was like, yeah, man, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, how's that ever going to happen when I'm not going to Washington State?
You probably thought every coach was going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then, boom, like, fast forward or whatever. So, whenever I'm there, whatever, everybody comes up, they like, Dede, guess what? They like, OU is here. And I'm like, OU, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a small town Texas kid. I don't know where that's at. So I'm like, I have no idea where OU is. You know what I'm saying? And so they was like, man, they in the coach's office. They want to talk to you. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, come on, let's go. So I go. As soon as I walk in, it's Coach Gundy. Right? He's sitting in his chair, right? He's in my head coach's chair. He freaking got his legs on the desk. Hands interlocked behind, like I'm talking about, like a boss.
Did he do the turnaround? Like you walk in, like you're not facing him, like, and he comes back around. He's like,
and so it was just crazy because like the players there, like they all knew what was going on. They was like, Coach Stoops, like, man, he's a legend, and I have no idea about any of this, right? Because I didn't grow up watching football.
Yeah.
And so I come in and I sit down. I'm like, hey, what's up, coach? He was like, hey, Dede, like, how's it going? You know, and the first thing that he said to me was like, what's your top 5 schools? So, of course, me being a small town Texas kid, I gave him all 5 Texas schools. I was like, Texas, you know, Texas A&M, TCU, Baylor, you know, Texas Tech. He was like, I don't hear OU anywhere in your top 5. And I was like, well, shit, I don't really know much about, you know, OU. And he was like, well, I can tell you with all them schools that you just named, you know, OU is a Mercedes-Benz, and those other schools are like Ford F-150. So you pick you pick which car you want to drive in. And I was like, well, shit, anybody in their right state of mind,
they're going to choose that Benz.
Mercedes-Benz, you know. But then when he said that to me, I was thinking like, okay, I want to go to a different school and I want to beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? Since y'all that Mercedes-Benz, but then my phone started ringing and it's my mother. Coach Stoops is at home with my mother. You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those situations where
we're
going
to tag team a little bit,
good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and that was kind of like the process of me kind of getting here. You know, another part of that story, Baylor. Like I was big on Baylor, which was where I wanted to go. You know, coming out like my junior year, I took like a junior day there. That's when Art Briles was there, and Coach Libby was their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He was their offensive coordinator. So took their junior day there. Man, they had guys like they had Josh Gordon, RG3 was a quarterback at the time. They had Corey Coleman was a freshman, though, but he was a freshman. You know what I'm saying? So he was like young. Yeah. And you had Kendall Wright. You had Terrence Williams. Boy, they had some stuff.
KD Nix or whatever his name was.
He wasn't there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. So he was a little. But they had like the guys though, like Kendall Wright, Josh Gordon, Terrence Williams, who played for the Cowboys.
That team was just straight speed.
Man, straight speed, right? And Libby was the offensive coordinator. Now, granted, I didn't know that at the time, right? And so, man, they pulled my offer. So coming out, obviously I didn't have the grades. You get what I'm saying? So they were like, yeah, Dede, man, you don't really have the grades, so you got to go to a junior college. And I was like, yeah, man, with me going to the junior college, does the offer still stand? And they was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of got to go to the junior college route and prove yourself all over again. You know, and I was like, well, man, like, if that offer don't stand, I can tell you right now, like, I'm not coming back, bro. Yeah. Like, this is it. You know, and crazy, man, Libby kind of connected because when we seen each other, about a few months ago, I went to the OU practice and he was here. Yeah. And when I went to shake his hand, he was like, Dede fucking Westbrook. And so I kind of looked at him like, damn, like, how you know me? So, like, it sounds like a connection as if we knew each other, how he said my name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he explained to me the story that I'm about to explain to you guys. Yeah. So when we were having this conversation, Libby was the coordinator, you know, and you know, after I sat there and talked to him, he was just like, man, the craziest thing was when you called us on that phone that day and you had talked to Art Briles in there and you was telling Art Briles, if that offer don't stand, you're not coming back here. He was like, I was on side of Art Briles saying, offer the fucker.
Are you
like,
crazy?
Offer him. You know what I'm saying? Like, make the offer stand, you know? And of course they ended up not giving me an offer, you know what I'm saying? And then I went and I became an All-American at the junior college level all over again. You know what I'm saying? And then they came back around. And I was like, yeah, Coach Bro, I was like, I'm not really a disrespectful person, but yeah, there's no way that I can possibly, you know what I'm saying, go over there to you guys' program and kind of be a part of it. Granted, you didn't take that chance on me when I needed you to. Yeah. You know, and so, boom, all roads led me right here to the University of Oklahoma, man. And
that's some slick shit my dad pulled going by your mom's house.
Yeah, I love Coach Stoops, man. That's my guy. Like, but yeah, man, like all roads lead me here, man. It was crazy, bro. Like, the story getting here, like even when I made it to campus, it was still like, I'm talking about I had a crib, you know, I'm a kind of like an introvert, like I'm kind of like to myself, myself type of guy. So when I make it here on my official visit, I just knew it was the right spot for me, man. Like Sterling Shepard, sure we all know Shep. Like, man, that's a guy like that I admire more than like anybody. And so when guys ask me like, man, who your favorite wide receiver? Yeah. Like a Sterling Shepard. You know what I'm saying?
Show you how to do things right. It's going to be him, especially as a young kid that never been here before.
Exactly.
He grew up here. And he knows the way.
And for me, it's like I've never been around like football, right? Like we played in the backyard, but there was never anybody that I didn't watch football. Yeah. So my best chance of seeing football was like Sterling. Yeah. Like seeing this guy and I'm like,
you don't really have an example of somebody to like look at. He was there.
So when people be asking me like, man, who your favorite receiver? It's like Sterling Shepard. And then they kind of look at me like, what? Like Shep? And I'm like, man, y'all don't understand. Like the things that I seen this man do, you know what I'm saying? Not only that, like the factor he was in the community, like everybody loved him. Like I was like, that's who I want to be. Yep. Like that's what I want.
To this day, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I was like, that's the guy that I want to be like. That's who I want to imitate. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it worked. Like me and Shep became really good friends over the course of my junior year. Of course, we made that college football playoff run. Yeah. Like he was the guy that was the senior year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching everything unfold. You know, I still think Shep had like 86 catches, I believe, or somewhere around there for like 1,200 yards. You know what I'm saying? With like 10 to 12 touchdowns. Yeah. Like he had a crazy senior year, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, that's who I want to be. That's what I want to do. That's who I want to imitate. And it just kind of went from there, man.
It's funny too, cause like, you know, playing with Baker, but once you know Shep's turn was up, it was time for really somebody else to step up. And I mean, you kind of.
It's crazy because the relationship with Baker too, like just kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like that relationship with Baker my junior year, like it was crazy. Like, bro, like I still had obstacles to overcome even when I came to the University of Oklahoma. Like I came like me and my girlfriend, like the same girlfriend that I was with at Blinn. Like we came to OU together and I was like, man, I don't want to stay in no dorm room. Like hell no. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really know nobody out here. The only person I know is my girl. You know what I'm saying? So that's who I wanted to be around. So we come here, we get a house. We get a house out there by Tecumseh. You know what I'm saying? We get a
parents' house.
So we get a crib over there, like, but in Norman, it's off Sooner to come to.
Okay, so yeah, like
so we on the other side, right. So get an apartment there, man. Like, bro, we weren't even there for like 3 months. Man, I still remember the landlord's name. We got evicted, right? Yeah. Swear to God, like got evicted. It was just like we had worked, you know what I'm saying? My old lady at the time, she had worked her tail off, you know, and so we had money saved up, but we was kind of living a dream through like her father. You get what I'm saying? He was like, oh, I'm going to pay for everything. I'm going to take care of everything. Like, you guys are good. But it got to the point where it was like false hope. You know what I'm saying? We were thinking that he was going to take care, or that he did take care of everything. And he was like, oh, I'm going to get you guys cars. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going to be good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, cool. So it got to the point where I'm taking a taxi to and from Tecumseh, because we relying on those vehicles that he said that he was getting us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
just to get the practice,
just to get the campus. Right. So that was the whole point of us even buying a crib or getting a crib out there, like renting a crib out there, because we figured when we got here, he was promising cars, you know, to rent.
That's like NIL nowadays, man.
Exactly, and that's why I advocate. Like, I'm for
when these schools don't end up holding their end of the bargain. It's like you can probably relate to that, and I mean, but like that would have changed everything for you.
The whole aspect.
Like if NIL was alive back then, I mean, you would have had a car.
And so it was just crazy, man. Like I was spending like $24 at a time, like each trip, you know what I'm saying, just for the taxi to get from there to here. You get what I'm saying? That shit adds up. Like it was like $40 to $50 a day, because I'm going here, then I got to go back. But then I was so like in a box because I didn't want everybody to know that I was taking a taxi to and from. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I would walk on the other side of campus. You know what I'm saying?
And then walk all the way over.
Yeah, and then like call a taxi. You get what I'm saying? To like leave. Nah, and then it got to the point where I was late to practice, because of course I can't control when the taxi show up. You know what I'm saying? So of course that's when Smitty comes in. Like, I'm late. So every day, like, I'm coming in late or whatever, and we having to do extra shit, like, as a unit, because Smitty is not just me punishing you. I'm going to punish the unit. The whole unit. So now everybody's looking at me like the guys that I looked up to, like Sterling, Baker, like all these guys turning at me like, damn, Dede, what the fuck? Like Ty Darlington, he's like, what's up, bro? Like, what's going on? Like, why are you late every day? And then it got to the point where Baker, you know what I'm saying? Like, Baker wasn't even a starter at this point. It was Trevor Knight. So this is my junior year, you know what I'm saying? And so Baker, like, made it a point, like, Dede, like, he pulled me to the side. He was like, man, why you always late? I was like, man, like, this is kind of what's going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't have a vehicle. This is where I stay. And man, Baker used to wake up. Baker stayed
at the edge.
Where is
no, it's like a house over there.
Nah. It wasn't a house. It was in an apartment. Yeah, so you know the little car wash right there.
Yeah, that's where I'm talking about. The edge. That's where my brother just.
I don't know the name. I don't know the name.
I went by there one time when he lived with Jackson Yules.
Okay. Yeah. So Baker was in a probably, man, I don't know the years that well, so work with me. He was probably in like a '97 Toyota Camry. One of those old ones. Like, I don't even think the window worked for real. But we was in there though. Like, Baker used to go from, I swear, Baker used to go from his house, bro. We used to have 5:30 in the morning workouts. So think about it. Baker used to wake up from his crib probably around like 4. You know what I'm saying? And drive all the way to Tecumseh, which is the other side of Norman, get me, and we would drive back
to campus.
And
the edge is 3 minutes away from the
3 minutes, probably.
Yeah,
that's walking distance.
That's the type of teammate he is.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and that's how, you know, and everybody be like, dang, the relationship with you and Baker. It's like, man, the relationship with me and Baker ran so much deeper, because it's like, think of the respect. You know what I'm saying? That you grow from a person who's literally just going like, it's one thing if you're a starter, then it's kind of like, okay, like, we get it. You know what I mean?
It was way before that.
It's way before that, bro. Like, this is just another guy on a team.
That's like just like being a good friend, being a good guy. Before,
that's what I'm. Before
he probably would have done it for you as a classmate before a football player.
That's what I'm. This is before like Baker threw any touchdown here. You get what I'm saying? It was just on some, I'm gonna help. Like, I see what's going on, I'm gonna help you. Like, he didn't have to do that. You get what I'm saying? But like, he made it a point of emphasis, like, Dede, like, you're no longer gonna be late if I got something to say about it, man. And that whole spring.
That's why y'all were so damn good, man.
That's what I'm saying.
All those 4:30 conversations in the morning.
Man, I'm telling, we just like, first we used to just jam music for real, like, you know, Baker, man. He energy all day. You know what I'm saying? So we used to just rock out to music, but then we used to have those conversations and those talks. You know what I'm saying? As far as like where we wanted to be, and it's so crazy. So whenever I was seeing the success from Baker, I know he's probably saying the same thing with me, but it's like, damn, we come a really long way.
Yeah, we were. talking about kind of your breakout game. I mean, you were kind of already on the scene, but when against Texas, when you had three touchdowns, I mean, you caught on fire. I mean, there was like a 4-game stretch where you had like 10 touchdowns.
Man, it was crazy. Man,
just tell us about that game, about the OU Texas game.
Man, the OU Texas game was obviously different. Yeah. I'm from Texas,
Texas.
Yeah, 2-time All-American coming out of junior college. I had an offer from damn near every school in the Big 12, but the University of Texas, and that was during the time where Mac Brown left and Charlie Strong came in.
Okay. Yeah.
And Charlie Strong thing was he didn't recruit junior college guys. You know what I'm saying? Like that was his first year.
Yeah.
So he didn't really, you know what I'm saying? I get it. He probably wanted to establish himself and his players first.
And his first recruiting class.
So he didn't recruit junior college guys. So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like a slap in the face, whatever. Yeah. But I get it, right? So I come to OU and I'm like, I want to beat y'all ass. Like, yeah, you an offer me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
it's personal.
Like it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was kind of the edge and the chip that I had on my shoulder going into that OU Texas game. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, we had lost the year before. You know, and I was talking to my friends, and it's like the crazy thing. In those 2 years that I played here, I've only had one Big 12 loss, and that was Texas. In 2 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah.
Like I only had one loss in the Big 12, and that was to Texas, and that was 2015.
Yeah.
And so I was coming off of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, first off, y'all didn't offer me. Then y'all beat us in 2015.
It's like it's on.
Yeah, man, we got to beat y'all ass.
Take your business.
Yeah, we got to beat y'all ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, stand on that for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was crazy, man. Man, Coach Raleigh was dialing it up, and that was kind of that. You know, the game before that, we played TCU, man, and it was looking ugly for me because I was coming off the injury. Well, I had a pulled hamstring in training camp. Well, fall camp. You know what I'm saying? So I had a pulled hamstring, and my hamstring just wasn't getting better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going to say the reasonings of why, but we all know the reasonings. You know what I'm saying? It was just like.
You weren't doing things right, big dog.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like.
No, I'm kidding.
No, facts. So we all know the reasonings, but it was like that lingering thing, right? And sometimes with lingering injuries, that shit it's just time. You know what I'm saying? It gets better with time, but it's a little different whenever you steady working it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it comes with rest, but you guys can't really afford that when
exactly.
they need you.
And so then I went and I had a one-on-one conversation with Coach Stoops. You know what I'm saying? Like, went to Coach Stoops, and I'm like, man, Coach Stoops, like, this is my senior year. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a big year for me. And he was just like, well, Dede, man, you got to get healthy. Like, it's kind of hard for me to, you know, when
if you're not healthy.
Yeah, when you're not healthy. And then I was like, man, I think what I need is some rest. I was like, if I can get the proper rest that I need, and we were coming off a bye week. And I was like, man, I think if I can take this week to myself and get the proper rest that I need to get, I'll be ready by TCU.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, let's try it. You know what I'm saying? And I went, you know, I got the rest that I felt as if I needed, did it the treatment that I needed to get without putting that extra strain and stuff on my hamstring, like letting it heal. Man, go out there against freaking TCU. What was it, like 7 catches for 158, 2 touchdowns. Come back, Texas, 10
There's
catches.
A clip right there.
Like 230 something.
232 for 3 touchdowns. Come back, Kansas State, 9 catches, 189 with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Then I think we go to Lubbock, Texas Tech.
Man, it was something crazy, but it's funny. It's like you putting up those numbers once you got that 2 weeks rest, you got healthy. I mean, we might have liked having you out there at 75% being better than most DBs out there.
Man, it's so crazy because like now that, you know, now obviously since it's all over with, I also be wanting to go and look back myself and be like, damn, like think of me being healthy against Ohio State that year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I mean, we don't know that outcome.
We don't know, but
it's just like I would just like to go back myself and see. I like to live life with no regret, but that's one of the ones I just be like, damn, like, what if I was healthy against Houston?
Yeah.
What if I was healthy against Ohio State? You know what I'm saying?
I forgot about those early losses.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are only 2 losses that we had that year. Well, I think we played Houston first game, and then I think like ULM the second game. That's right. And then we played Ohio State. Or it was like either Houston.
We were 1 and 2. I don't know if we've ever been 1 and 2. Yeah.
Everybody was ready to hit the panic button at that too. I remember.
So and then that's when we got the bye week rolling into that TCU game, and man, it just kind of went crazy from there. Like Baker trusted in me, and Coach Raleigh, Coach Stoops, like it was crazy.
That Tech game was wild, man. Y'all had a barn burner.
I be talking like, you know, people kind of like they kind of just be throwing different things out there. Like I heard them say, I heard somebody say day before yesterday, they was like that Colorado State and in Colorado
this year
was the best game that they've ever seen. And I'm like, no way. No. You know what I'm saying? Hell no. Like, I think y'all just saying that because that's what's going on right now.
Yeah. No,
to the point,
it's the
like,
recency effect.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I be, because I like playing in that Texas or that Texas Tech and OU game. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, boy. I thought we was finna lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was just back to back, and I'm like,
Pat had a
I thought Baker was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like two Bakers out here.
Yeah, Mahomes was like that too.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. And it was just back to back. And it's like, I don't know, man. That shit was epic.
Yeah.
And then they was throwing the tortillas on the field. That shit was lit.
Yeah, the Scout Tech does that. Yeah,
batteries, like they'll throw anything at you. Like,
boy.
if you hear it, like they do it.
And it was like we would go and score. We would be up like 10. You know what I'm saying? 17. Okay, we got a comfortable league, and
keep down.
they come right back.
Nah, it was just big play after big play.
And it's, I think the score was like 66 to like 56 or something like that.
Yeah,
it was something. Sure, it was like something crazy. And then it's like,
I know Joe had multiple touchdowns. You had multiple.
And it's the crazy thing was, it was like Joe went so crazy that it overshadowed.
Yeah, his one-handed catch, and like he had some wild.
I think Joe had like 5 total touchdowns. I think he might have had like 3 rushing, 2 receiving.
2 receiving maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like, even that game, I think I had like 10 catches for 200 yards with 3 touchdowns.
And you weren't.
And it was like overshadowed. It was like overshadowed because Joe had like 6 touchdowns, 5 or 6 total touchdowns. And I'm like, bro, that is crazy.
I mean, that team was so talented though. Like, I mean, like you said, like you don't want to like look back and have any regrets or anything, but like if we don't drop one of those early games, like it could have been different. Yeah, I mean, look at all the talent that had there.
No disrespect to Houston, but I still feel like we still had a chance had we not lost to Houston, because you can still get in the playoffs now with one loss.
For sure. And it's you know what I'm saying? State had a great year. Yeah.
Right, and it was so early on in the year, and then after that, it was kind of like, I wouldn't say we were dominating people, but we were beating people pretty good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We sent 2 people to the Heisman, right? You went to the Heisman with
me and Baker. Correct.
Yeah, you got 4th, and then
it's been a while since anybody had done that. I mean, USC's done it. I don't know how many schools have done that, but
man,
in the same year.
I think from me being there, I think they said the last time a wide receiver had been there was Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
and that was like 17 years before.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And good. Then after me, it was like Devontae Smith won it.
Yeah.
I think, what was it? Not that next year, but the year after, maybe.
It was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was like 3 years. I think it's
after. 3 or 4.
Right. So then after that, Devontae Smith ended up winning it, and then of course Marvin Harrison Jr. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like, man, since me, it hadn't been since Larry Fitzgerald was 17.
Kind of cracked that door back.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I be trying to tell people that, but it's like
they don't look at it that way. You know,
they don't be listening.
It has been like a running back quarterback award. So
exactly, and it's like, man, and the crazy thing is, like, I'm not saying I should have won the Heisman, because that was never my plan ever.
But you made so many like plays, yards after catch, that it was hard to deny you making those plays. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Baker, obviously, but like
my argument be, man, there was several games that I didn't even play. Like, if you think about it, right? Like, the Houston game was hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you also backdoor, and you the Ohio State game hurt. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, ULM runs into that. Mm-hmm. So, in those 3 games, I believe I had like 3 catches for 17 yards in those 3 games combined. You know what I'm saying? Then, of course, we have the bye week, and then that's when everything happened. But then we also have to take into account against Texas, when we play OU Texas, that 10 catches for 232 yards, I didn't even touch the ball in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
So that was through the 3rd quarter. Didn't get a target in the 4th quarter, not one. Okay, and then Oklahoma State, I got knocked out before halftime.
Oh yeah.
Remember, I finished. I think it was like 4 catches for 114 with a touchdown, and I got the concussion.
So you were out like damn near almost like 4 games total for the year.
And then we didn't have a Big 12 championship game. Yeah. They just added that Big 12 championship game where you get to play in that extra game.
You did that in 8 full games.
So I be feeling like, man, like, granted, me being like healthy, I might have went for 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I might have went for 2,000.
That's not out of bounds to think.
Nah, I think I finished with like 15,
totally
16
reasonable.
or something like that.
So
it's like 500 more yards in like 4 games.
Yeah, because in those big games, you know you're getting targets.
Right.
We need somebody, make plays.
So man, I be arguing this with my friends like all the time, to the point where they be like, "Dede, you really think that?" And I'd be like, "Man, you look at the average.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just blowing smoke.
Yeah.
It just adds up.
Like, I mean,
numbers, the way the numbers were trending. Yeah.
That's all. Like, even if you go out there and fucking have like 30 yards in those games, like, nigga, you still sitting at like what, 1,700, 1,800 yards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Could have happened.
I mean, that's kind of how I be looking at it.
For sure.
Well, and you got the Heisman, like we kind of mentioned, like it's kind of turned into like the most valuable player.
Right.
I think a little bit. But, I mean, we had 2 OU guys. So,
That's
like, you know,
Yeah.
they kind of split the votes a little bit.
Right.
You know, a little bit.
And that's
So-
what they was telling us beforehand. Man, that Heisman experience.
Who won it that year?
Lamar.
Lamar. It was Lamar.
So Lamar, Deshaun,
Sean, yeah.
and then it was Baker. Then it was me.
Okay.
Then it was Jabril Peppers.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Shout out Lamar this weekend.
Yeah. Shout out Lamar. That's my guy, man.
Yeah.
I want Lamar to win it all, man. I love Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like Patrick Mahomes then already won a couple.
Lamar need one.
I just want him to win because of just the critics, you know what I'm saying? Them pretty much saying the man's not really a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Granted, he's led his team to the playoffs every year he's been in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really just do that running the football.
Nah, yeah. He's a great
No,
quarterback.
especially this year, there are a lot of running back by committee. I
Right.
mean, they got some good running backs. Don't get me wrong. But
So I don't know. I just want him to win. But if he don't, I'm cool with Patrick Mahomes winning.
I'm cool with that. I'm a Chiefs fan, but
I just don't. I mean, nothing against Purdy, but I mean, he's an Iowa State guy. So
yeah.
Yeah.
all right. You know
Well,
what
he's
I'm
got
saying?
all those players around us.
Yeah,
we
I
could
mean-
talk about that. You know,
Yeah, no-
he does a good job facilitating.
Yeah, I think
But-
you're right. I think Purdy is good, but I feel like that's Kyle Shanahan's system, man. I feel like you put, I wouldn't say anybody, but if you put your prototype, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's still got to be a good player. Like you said, it can't
Right.
be anybody.
Yeah,
But
it can't be anybody, but I'm saying if you put a player in that system, I think they're going to have success because it's the system.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's out there doing anything like.
He's not doing what Lamar and Pat are doing.
Exactly.
Like, that's-
That's it. But I feel like if you take them and put them in that offense, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Who knows?
It's a different level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got a great offensive line, not to mention.
yeah, them boys, they're good. San Francisco is a well put together team all the way around.
Yeah.
All the way around.
No, it's going to be a good matchup regardless. But, you know, you got drafted in the 4th round, 110th pick. You know, just talk about your NFL career a little bit. You know, 4 years in Jacksonville. Just kind of dig into that a little bit.
Man, my 4 years in Jacksonville, like I love Jacksonville. It's crazy. Like I said, y'all, I never really watched football. So whenever I got drafted, I was in a car traveling from Dallas back to Oklahoma when I got drafted. It was me, my girlfriend, and like my manager at the time, best friend. He's driving, and I get the phone call from Coach Coughlin, you know, and get on the phone, and he's pretty much like, Dede, man, like, we love you, but we're scared of you. You know, and I'm like, well, hell, what do you
What do
mean?
you mean by it?
Yeah, he was just like, man, we don't know if we give you money, would you stay out of trouble? You know, and I was like, well, man, Coach, I've never really been a troublemaker, right? That's not really who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's not really what I stand for. I was like, but I can guarantee if you know, take a chance on me, man, I would never do anything to hurt you guys' organization in any way possible. And he was like, well, man, I want you to stand on the words. Like, I want you to be a man of your word, and I want to trust everything that you say. And I was like, well, let's make it happen. So then he ends up drafting me there. So then it was like, yeah, you're going to be drafted to Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I didn't see this on the TV because I'm driving in the car, so I'm seeing it all on Twitter. But then I'm looking, I'm like, where the hell is Jacksonville?
You didn't know?
No.
Didn't have a clue. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like,
Did you know it's in Florida? at
Right,
least?
I didn't. I have no idea. Like, I've never, like, Oklahoma was the first time I've ever been out of the state of Texas.
That's wild.
So, like, when you flew with the team, like, that was your first flight?
Right, that was
ever?
my first time, like, leaving.
flying.
You get what I'm saying? So I had no idea where none of these places were. Like, I'm a small town Texas kid, like, born and raised. And so I'm like, I tap my man, I'm like, man, where the fuck is Jacksonville?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Florida.
And he's like, it's in Florida. And then I'm like, let me see. So then he showed me the logo.
Okay.
And I'm like, I've never seen this team. Like, I don't know who it is. You know what I'm saying? So
That's insane.
end up going to Jacksonville. Man, I love Jacksonville. Like, love Jacksonville. I love the people. And the thing that I loved about it so much, man, because it's like, for me, being from that small town, like, my population is 5,000 people when I say small town, it's a population of 5,000 people, 60 people in my graduating class. I was not the 60th person, so y'all know I'm a little smart. But yeah, man, so it's like small. So for me going to like Oklahoma, right? I loved it because it wasn't like, this place is like, Oklahoma is like small. Like, it's
a
big,
small
but
town.
it's small.
It's no, you know, it's Norman. It's a college town.
Exactly, and it's small. Like, it don't take you long to get wherever you're trying to go. There's a Chick-fil-A. Perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's 10 minutes
So
down the road.
exactly. So you win there. But for me, I fell in love with Brahms. I've never seen a Brahms before until I got here. I ate those fries. I was like, I love it. And Coach Gundy was like, yeah, you got to commit since you had the best fries. Okay, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And so I ate Brahms down there every day.
Could have got a hell of a NIL deal with Braun.
Come on, man. It was the milkshakes, like the whole 9 yards.
Go crazy,
man.
bag of burgers.
Exactly. He'd be eating that. He's like, this right before Friday nights.
So, man, it was
that Chad Johnson meal.
Yeah, the McDonald's.
Cake, yeah.
But like it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So then I go to Jacksonville, and it was the same thing. Like Jacksonville football, like that's the only thing that they have. Like they don't have a basketball team. They don't have a mall. Like they have a mall, but their mall isn't like, it's like Sooner Mall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like a crazy mall. Yeah. Like you got to travel to Orlando, Florida to get that designer.
Like way inland, to Orlando.
You know what I'm saying? You got to go to Orlando, which is like an hour and 15 minutes away from Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was kind of like it was a perfect fit. Like it's a big city. Like it takes you a while to get to where you're trying to go. But all in all, everything is just football, which is what I would want it to be about. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not really going out. There's no like club feel. You can go to the water. So it's great for your family to come out, go to the beach. You know what I'm saying? I stayed right off the water. So it was just perfect, man. I love Jacksonville.
Yeah,
love it.
I feel like you had a really good start there, like with the Jaguars, and you ended up having what you hurt your knee or?
So my first year coming in, I had sports hernia. Okay. Now, granted, that's like something that kind of happens over time, wear and tear on the body. I had no idea, so I just made a cut that I normally make always. And I get to the hotel room, and I'm like, I'm a rookie, so I don't really know this process. I don't know anybody around that knows this process besides Shep, but he's going through training camp the same way I am. So it's not like I'm going to text him and be like, hey, man, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to let him do his thing as well,
hey,
too.
man, I'm hurting. What do I do?
Right, so I'm kind of like,
yeah.
So I'm like figuring all this stuff out on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have anybody there. And so there's a rookie guy that's we roommates. You know what I'm saying? So me and him both are rookies. And I'm like, bro, like, I can't walk. And he was like, what the hell you mean? I'm like, bro, like, I can't walk. He was like, man, Dede, you just being dramatic. And I'm like, nah, like, I really can't walk. And this is when the NFL really became like a business for me. It like clicked on. It was like, couldn't really walk, make it to the stadium, right? But we got a preseason game that's coming up. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's preseason game. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do, but the last thing I want to do is get cut. So a guy that I was close with, who was my locker mate, was Aaron Colvin.
Oh, yeah,
Slick AC. So he's my locker mate. You know what I'm saying? He's right next door to me. So I'm going out there. We got a game that weekend. I forget who we were playing, but we have a game. And it's my first preseason game. And I'm like, man, I can't go. So they fly me. There's a doctor out in Philadelphia. His name Dr. Myers. Fly me out to Dr. Myers. They shoot me up with what is it? Like cortisone. There you go, cortisone. Yeah. They shoot me up with cortisone, right? So I'm like, shit, like I don't feel anything. So I start crying though, right? Like, and the reason I start crying, man, because I'm bit like I've never drank nor smoked a day in my life, ever in my entire life. Like I've never tried it and spit it out because it was gross. I never took a puff or anything and was like, nah, this isn't for me. I've never done anything, no drug ever in my entire life. But for me, I felt like, damn, because this is pretty much what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not healing me. Yeah. It's only masking the pain. And that's what I felt like drugs did for people. Now, granted, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, because I've never done it. But I'm saying that's, in my mind, that's what I thought, right? So I was like boo-hoo crying, like, because I'm like, damn, like, my whole life, I've never done this before, but now I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not doing it because I want to do it.
No, it's for a different reason.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, it's still that feel for me because I'm like, this ain't right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It can't be. So I go out there, fucking have a monster game. You know what I'm saying? I go out there, I go for 100 yards receiving. You know what I'm saying? And so, okay, after that game, I couldn't walk again. They were literally like putting me in a wheelchair.
How long does it last, the cortisone? I've actually never got one.
Because I would go like on a Thursday.
Okay.
They would shoot me up on Thursday. You get what I'm saying? I would fly back on Friday. And so I wouldn't practice Saturday. But then we'll play Sunday. But afterwards, I couldn't walk. You know what I'm saying? So they would literally put me in a wheelchair and wheel me to my car, bro. Yeah. Like it was like a business for sure. And I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Probably shouldn't be saying all this, but whatever. It is what it is. But so then Sunday after that, you get what I'm saying? Like, couldn't walk. Like, so I would go up to the place for treatment. I wouldn't practice all week. They'll do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that next Thursday, I fly again, go back up there, come back that Sunday, go for another 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? Then that third time, it was the third time, I come through, right? AC was like, man, where the hell you be going when you be leaving? He be like, man, you be leaving Thursday, and I don't see you no more until like Saturday. Where you be going? And I'm thinking it's normal. I'm a rookie, so I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I be going out to Philly. And he was like, Philly for what? And I was like, shit, they be, I got the little sports hernia thing going on. I'm saying it to him like it's cool. Like, yeah, man, I got the little sports hernia thing going on. So they just pretty much fly me out there. They'll kind of like shoot me up and like fly me back for me to play. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, nah, that shit ain't okay. And I was like, what you mean? He was like, yeah, man, you probably need to get surgery. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, stop doing that. He was like, at the end of the day, this is your body. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, and these people will use you until they can't use you anymore. You know what I'm saying? He was like, and to the point where you're not worth anything, they're just going to drop you anyways. He was like, so, bro, you need to take care of yourself while you're in here. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I heard so much as far as, man, you don't want to get cut. You want to do this so you don't get cut, to the point where, like, my mind was on some, I got to provide.
Yeah, like, you're only needed as much as you are useful.
Exactly.
And once you aren't, then they'll do to you what you aren't,
And that's what he was explaining. But it was to the point where I didn't know any better, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he had told me that. So that week I flew out there. That was my 4th preseason game. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to solidify my spot on the team. So at this point, like, I played in 3 games and went for 100 yards in 3 games. 4th game, we play Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, go for another 100 yards. Couldn't walk again after the game. But then after that, we played. That's when Jacksonville had the hurricane out there.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Jacksonville had the hurricane, and we played the Houston Texans in Houston for the first game of the season. So we flew to Houston a week before. And out there, Coach Coughlin was like, we want you to play, like, we're going to send you out to Philadelphia again. I was like, Coach, I'm not going. And he was kind of like looking at me, and I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not going to Philadelphia anymore. Like, I think I'm going to do what's best for me in this situation. I'm going to get the surgery. He was pissed. Yeah. Like, pissed. Yeah. On some, like, who you been talking to? You know what I'm saying? Because I've been doing it for 4 weeks now. Like, it's become the norm. Right. Like, it's normal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, what the? Oh, okay. I'm just going to get your agent on the phone. And I was like, oh, all right. And from that point, like, that was my, like, it was bad. Like people was just looking at me different, like the coaches. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was like, they like feel like
that love ain't the same as
right. Because I'm out there like balling, so everybody like, what's up, bro? Like, what's up? And then when I've made this decision for myself that I'm not going to do that, it's kind of like them coaches was kind of like, Cold you know shoulder. What I'm saying? Like cold shoulder, exactly. Yeah. And then you know how it is, like whenever you do go and get those surgeries, it's kind of like they forget about you for real. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, what have you done for me lately? That's the type of business it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once you get hurt, it's kind of like, all right, next man up. And I get that, but
but you signed though, so then it's like once you get healthy, now you gotta. It's like you almost are you're the new guy again.
Right, exactly. Like, and so 7 weeks, you know how the NFL works whenever you go through like the injury process or whatnot. So when I decided to get that surgery and I didn't play that first week or the first couple weeks, however it go, they make you sit out for like 7 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I sat out that full 7 week grace period, and they didn't waste no time. Like soon as I got that surgery, like they flew me back the same day I got the surgery. Like it was crazy. Like they flew me back the same day. Like I got the surgery, got off the operating table, and I had a flight.
They threw you right back.
Man, they put me on a flight, flew me right back. That next morning, I was getting treatment. Like, I'm talking about in there doing strengthening exercises.
That's probably when you started to realize, they're protecting their investment. Like,
man, that shit. Yeah. It was, that's exactly what it was. It was like a for real, like, investment. It was a business. You know what I'm saying? So.
Do you feel like, because you also, then you tore your ACL as well, right?
Right. So I tore, that's a crazy story too, man. So, boom, that was my rookie year. That was my first year in the NFL. So then my second year, I have a really good year. I think I went for like 66 catches, about 750 yards, damn near 800 yards. Like right now, if you go have one of them years, man, you finna get like a $50-60 million contract. You know what I'm saying? That was my second year. Year 3, was the same. I had like 66 catches for like 650 yards. Now, granted, again, you go and you have one of them type of years, like you finna get a nice payday. So this when the love for the game for me kind of like went away. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, I don't really even care anymore. So year 4 coming in, we had fired our offensive coordinator. Who was it at the time? We had Nathaniel Hackett. That's my guy. Love Coach Hack. We let go of Nathaniel Hackett, Coach Hackett. Coach Hackett ends up going to Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers and those guys.
He's on the Jets now.
He's the offensive coordinator for the Jets now. That's my guy. So, boom, he goes to Green Bay. So then we bring in John DeFilippo. He was the quarterbacks coach for Nick Foles with the Philadelphia Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. Right. So Nick Foles ends up coming, you know what I'm saying, to Jacksonville or whatever, and DeFilippo comes with him. So me and Nick developed this crazy relationship throughout the offseason, you know, going up into the first season. And, of course, Nick Foles go and get hurt the very first play. Playing Kansas City Chiefs in Jacksonville, very first play, they knock his shoulder out. So I'm like, shit. So then Gardner Minshew comes in. Yeah. So then end up developing that relationship with Gardner Minshew. Still end up having a decent year with 77 catches, I think like 630 yards or something like that, with like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Still a decent year. Really you know what I'm saying? Like a good year. So then we going into my 4th year. That's coming off my second year I was the leading receiver on the team. My 3rd year, I was the 3rd leading receiver on the team. You had DJ Chark. I think he went for like 1,300, ended up being an all-pro. Yeah. Then you had Chris Conley with like 800 and some yards, and then that was me right at like that 650 marker. And going into year 4. But I had the 266 catch seasons back to back. So going into year 4, man, go throughout training camp. Everything was smooth. We go out week 1. I'm not starting. Like I'm not playing at all. And I'm like, okay. But that year I had a built-in escalator in my contract to the point where no matter if I played or not, I made $2.2 million that year. So I wasn't really tripping. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I mean, I'm finna make $2.2 million. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not tripping. Yeah. But of course I want to play football, right? So then it's like week 6, still not playing. Like a healthy scratch. Like I'm healthy, but I'm just not playing. Yeah. And we just hired Jay Gruden. And it's crazy because I'm seeing Jay Gruden and Robert Griffin going back and forth with each other on social media, and Jay Gruden is a different guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's a different guy.
He's different. We'll put it that way.
He's different. Like, I don't know what him and RG3 got going on. That's their business. But, you know, I got my own experiences with Jay Gruden. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, that's another subject. But moving forward, yeah, like I'm a healthy scratch. Now, granted, I don't know if I'm a healthy scratch because we also fired Tom Coughlin, which was Tom Coughlin was the president. So we had like the president of the team. So it was the owner, which was Shad Khan, obviously.
Like the GM?
He wasn't the GM. So because Dave Caldwell, I don't know what his
he was just like somewhere in like the.
But he was a head guy though, like because there will always be beef. And it was with me, like the tension. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, granted, like I'm just a ball player. Like I don't know I don't know the business or nothing. But it was one of them situations. Like when I got drafted, Coughlin called me. So my relationship, like I develop relationships with the people that I know. That's just who I am, right? Like if I don't really know you, I'm just very family oriented. You know what I'm saying? So Coughlin came, like he called my phone. Like when they drafted me. After that, that's the only person I've talked to. You get what I'm saying? So I developed a relationship with Tom Coughlin. So it was the owner, then it was Coughlin, then it was the GM, then it was the head coach. Then it went down to the assistant coaches. But all of my dealings was with Coughlin. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's where like the bullshit beef would come in. Because Coughlin every week, like every day, Coughlin would call me down to his office every single day. Like clockwork.
This is during year 4, right?
Nah, this is like from my rookie year all the way until Coughlin leaves. Like that was like my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point he's older. You know what I'm saying? But that's my guy. So love him to death. But Coughlin would be like, he would kind of like bring me in, you know, and he'll be like, how are the kids? And I'd be like, oh, like they're fine. You know, he'd be like, yeah, I know you're not going to be able to be home for Thanksgiving, but you know, if you want, you and your family can come over to my place for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, thanks. I never go. You know what I'm saying? But it's
really
kind of
cool that. I mean,
but
really
it's like
right
that he's offering that. Like he was my guy. Like on the buses, like you know, you can kind of go sit anywhere. So it's like I'm thinking I'm finna go to the back or like how my friends, you know what I'm saying? And Coughlin will be like, no. Like he'll put his hand out there and I would sit right beside Coughlin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like on the plane, the team plane.
Yeah.
You got assigned seats, sitting by Coughlin. And they was like the players used to like make fun of me. You know what I'm saying? Because they used to be like, oh, Dede's going with his grandpa again. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Dede's papa's calling. Dede can't hang out. You know, he can't stay much longer. His papa going to be over here. So it was like that. They used to crack jokes, but then the older guys on the team would pull me to the side and be like, man, Dede is honestly a good thing. Like, you don't see that often in this business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Granted that somebody like believes in you that much to the point where they want you to be more around them to kind of keep you out of trouble, to keep you well-rounded as far as the things like pushing forward into your career. Like, that's big. Like, you don't see it often. But then they fire Coughlin.
Yeah, he's year 4, right?
This going into my year 4. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So year 3 and like year 1, 2, 3, Coughlin was there. Then they fired Coughlin going into year 4. And I think that was like my back, because there will always be beef, I felt like, between Marrone and Coughlin. Granted, because I went through Coughlin for everything. Like if something was happening, you know what I'm saying? Like say if I couldn't practice or something was bothering me, I went to Coughlin because that's who I knew.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So then I'll go out there and I'll just be kind of like sitting there, and you know, Marrone would be like, Dede, what are you doing? I'd be like, I'm not practicing today. And he'd be like, well, why aren't you practicing? I mean, I talked to Coughlin and I was saying, and then it's kind of like at that point, like I didn't know at the time, but it was kind of like his hand was forced as well too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like as if he was being belittled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It trickles down.
Exactly. Like bullshit rolls downhill.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those situations to the point where it was like I was pretty much like a teacher's pet with like Coughlin. You know what I'm saying? He protected me. He looked after me. But then when they fired Coughlin, then it's kind of like, okay, you out here on your own. So I felt like year 4 for me, I didn't play. Like there was nobody there for me. Like Doug Marrone was still a head coach, but Coughlin is now gone.
And that could be really hard with injuries, especially.
See, and then the injury thing, but I didn't have any injuries coming off of those years. So the only injury I had at the time was my rookie year. Yeah. So then the 2 back-to-back seasons, I played the full 17-game season. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Both years. Then going into year 4, I'm a healthy scratch, right? Yeah. And then we hired Gruden as the offensive coordinator. Don't play a snap, right? Mm-hmm. So then we get to like week 7. Right. And I'm like, I'm still a healthy scratch. So I'm like, man, what the fuck? So I didn't checked out at this point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going into practice, but now I'm in practice and I'm picking what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not practicing with the team. I'm on like the scout team. Right. So I'm out there doing all kind of stuff. I'm playing quarterback. I'm playing running back. You know, they can't really tackle you. It's kind of like I'm just out there having fun. You know what I'm saying at this point? But it was also bad for me too because I wasn't conditioning neither. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how like the scout team reps go, like it kind of go, but you're not a practice squad guy, so you're not really having to do those reps. So the ones I'm looking at the paper, seeing who getting the ball, I'm like, ooh, I want to do that. Hey, I'm gonna go in for you. Yeah. So it was probably like I was probably getting 5 reps throughout a 2-hour practice period. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So then it got all the way through, like it was like 17 weeks in the season, and it comes to like week 14. You know what I'm saying? And then they like, Dede, we want you to play.
You're like,
and I'm like,
no.
You know, and I called my agent and I'm like, hey man, they want me to play. And he was like, okay, play. And I'm like, hell no. And he was like, what you mean? And I was like, bro, I ain't done nothing in 14 weeks. Yeah. And he was like, what you mean? I was like, listen, I haven't done one thing in 14 weeks. Like I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I'm just out here like doing my own little thing. You know what I mean? Like going whenever I want to go. And like, that's it. And he was like, man, you know, I think it's because they got you on the trading block, you know, and they kind of want to put you out there to showcase what you got so that they can trade you. And I was like, yeah, still no. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's fine. Like,
if you ain't been doing anything, you don't want to kill your stock.
Exactly. Yeah. And then not only that, I know I'm still coming off the 266 catch years. So now I'm kind of understanding the business. So it's like, I know I'm coming out the 266 catch years. I know if I don't go and play, it's only 3 weeks left in the season. I know I'm finna go sign a 1 year, $10 million, 1 year, $8 million deal somewhere, like a prove it deal. But I'm healthy. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's like you're going to be able to get that type of money because of the 2 years that you just racked up with you being
healthy. Yeah.
Being in Jacksonville. So it's like I had an idea of that, but I didn't know that as much. I just watched Jalen Ramsey do it. Didn't know what he was doing because Jalen Ramsey was clearly healthy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We would go to like you remember when Jalen like made the big deal as far as him going to the Rams.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like when he got traded to the Rams. And remember, he was like, his back was killing him.
Yeah.
Man, we was at LA Fitness hooping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it wasn't hurting.
Like,
Yeah.
Right, but I get it. Like, he knew the business. He
knew that's what it was going to take to get
Right. He knew the business. So he knew that's what he was going to sacrifice for himself to get what it was that he wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of his way of not going out there and playing. Now, granted, I didn't know that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. I'm like, this year 2 for me. I'm just playing football. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then Jalen obviously get traded to the Rams, and that was his reason. Think about it. When Jalen got traded, he was playing that same week.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But in Jacksonville, he was saying his back was killing him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he knew the game, and I didn't. Right? And so then at that point, like I said, week 14 for me, they called me up to play, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think I should play. You know what I'm saying? Then I called my agent. He was like, man, Dede, I think you should play. The last thing I want is for you to have that bad rep about yourself as far as like you kind of telling them what you're not going to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, all right, man, like, fuck it, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Go out there. We playing the L.A. Chargers. Yeah, we playing the Chargers out in L.A. Kenneth Murray is there. Yeah, he's K9. He's on the team. So then they got me playing kick return. Now, I've never really played kick return before. I did punt returner here at OU. I did some kick return, but that was not my
specialty at all.
That was not my specialty at all. Like, they just threw me in at kick return here because I was having so much success with punt return to the point where it's like, well, why not? You know what I'm saying?
Was Jacksonville kind of trying to, like, show other teams, like, oh, he can return kicks.
Because that's how that's how it goes. Like,
Yeah.
just finding different ways to get you on the field. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of their way of doing it. You know, but for me, it was like, I ain't never really done this before. So they got me out there returning punts and returning kicks. I end up tearing my ACL that same game, returning a kick return, something I don't even do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just a routine, me going, stopping, playing, making a cut, boom, ACL snap. And so for me, it's like all my leverage is gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, every piece of leverage that I had is gone out the window now that I've gotten an injury. You know what I'm saying? You back at ground zero. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of like that whole little spill for me year 4. And to me, like, I feel like that's what kind of took that love for the game for me away. Granted, how that whole situation played out throughout that whole year, you know, and then that's when I ended up getting the crib here in Edmond. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, they kind of let you go wherever you want to go to rehab. Yeah. So I ended up rehabbing here in Oklahoma at OSSPT right here in Moore. Okay. So I was traveling back and forth every day from Edmond, Oklahoma to Moore, getting rehab done. And then finally I get a call about, maybe like 7 months later. I wasn't even fully like healthy.
You weren't back yet.
I wasn't even cleared from the doctor. And the Minnesota Vikings called and go out there. They bring me to a workout. Now, granted, Minnesota Vikings, there was a connection there because Keenan McCardell, who was my wide receiver coach in Jacksonville for the past 4 years, had just got hired to the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was that special connection there. So he called me on the phone and was like, man, we want to work you out. Like, come and ball out. Of course, I'm not telling him what's going on with my knee. He's like, how you feeling? I'm like, man, I feel good. Yeah, now, granted, I'm only like 7 months out post-op. You know what I'm saying? I haven't even been cleared by the doctor. I go out there to the workout, kill the workout, like crush the workout. You know, after I crushed the workout, like, now, granted, this was my first rodeo, so I didn't know this. So you always have a flight there and a return flight. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they brought in like 3 different players. Everybody else had a return flight and I didn't. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like they knew that they were going to sign me before I even came. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So I make it there and I'm like, where y'all going back to? Like, everybody's telling me where they going back and I'm like, yeah, man, I ain't got no flight. And then they like, what the hell you mean you ain't got no flight? And I'm like, man, I don't have a flight home. So I called them, like I called Coach McCardell and I'm like, hey man, like, I don't have a flight home. He was like, motherfucker, do you want to stay here and play or not? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, like, I'm like, okay, but it's like I wasn't expecting that. Like, this is my first rodeo. Like, I've been with Jacksonville for 4 years. Your schedule is kind of already predetermined. Right. You know what you're doing every single day. Yeah. So this is my first time going to like a different team, different organization. So I have no idea. I have nothing, y'all. Like, I only brought the clothes that I had on. Yeah. That was it. Like, because I'm thinking I'm coming and working out, going back home. You know what I'm saying? Wait. Then if they like me, they going to bring me back. Like, no, you're not leaving here. And so I'm like, I don't have any clothes. And they're like, well, get somebody to mail them. And I'm like, no. I gotta go home. Like, I gotta go home. Just give me a day. You know what I'm saying? Fly me back, let me get my stuff, and then come back. And then they ended up letting me do that. Man, I had a good workout with them. So the deal with me, I forget the damn GM name. Golly, I forget his name. But he was like, okay, Dede, this is what we want from you. And I was like, okay, this is the deal in order for me to stay. Like, since I crushed the workout, I was like, I want to do punt return and I want to play wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? I don't just want to do special teams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was like my biggest deal. Like, I'm more than just a return specialist. You know what I'm saying? I can actually play football. You know, and he was like, okay, like, we got Justin Jefferson, we have Adam Thielen, we're going to let you be the wide receiver 3. You know, he was like, and with that being said, like, you won't have to go through training camp. We know you're 6-7 months out of your post-operation.
Wasn't it Diggs? You mean Diggs?
Nah. Diggs was gone already. He was in Buffalo.
Oh, shit.
Because remember, Justin Jefferson came in place of Diggs. So I think that was Justin Jefferson's second year, though. This was year 2 for him.
Okay.
So it was Justin Jefferson.
This wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, this was 2022.
Yeah.
Wow.
2021.
I'm tripping, yeah.
Yeah, this was like 3 years ago. But yeah, so Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and me. That was the 3, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I can rock with that. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Then we got Kirk Cousins. He's throwing the ball all over the place. I'm like, yeah, I know I go and get 600 to 700 yards. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm back where I need to be at.
Yeah.
And that, like, moving into that transition, they was just like, okay, well, these same doctors at the time is who worked on Adrian Peterson. Remember, Adrian Peterson tore his knee up, then came back and won like MVP, comeback player of the year. Yep. Those were the same trainers that was working. So they was like, we got the best staff in the country as far as being able to heal what's going on with your knee. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, instead of you doing anything throughout fall training camp, we're just going to let you get doctored up. You know what I'm saying? And do your rehab. And I'm like, okay, that's perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's right up my alley. Yeah. And so
it's a good deal.
Yeah, it's right up my alley, right? I get time to rest, get myself together. Okay, cool. Well, as I'm going through this process, KJ Osborne, which was the guy that they drafted when they drafted Justin Jefferson, which was a year before.
Yeah, where's KJ from? Where did he go to college?
Miami.
Yeah,
he went to Miami. I think he's from like Michigan or Detroit, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But he went somewhere and then transferred to the University of Miami and then got drafted to Minnesota Vikings, like, what was that? In the 5th round or something, 4th or 5th round. But his rookie year, he ain't have a good rookie year, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? So then I kind of came in. But then in camp of year 2 for him, you know what I'm saying, he was balling. Yeah. Like, he had a crazy camp. So throughout that camp, it was Justin Jefferson, number 1, Adam Thielen, number 2, KJ Osborne, number 3. You know what I'm saying? Balled out, right? Not taking that from him. So then we come in. Now is week 1. We playing the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And they got me returning punts. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go and I get tackled. And I'm like, okay, you know, my knee held up. Like, I'm straight. Then that was kind of all I did. I think I had like 1 catch for 11 yards. I got tackled again. So I'm like, all right. So then we go and we play the Arizona Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? In Arizona. K1, Kyler Murray. Yeah. So we out there. I think I returned like 2 punts, maybe 2 or 3 punts. So then at this time, like, now I'm getting my feet under me. I call my agent. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go. Like, I've been tackled a couple times. Like, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, you got over that mental hump.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, man, I don't think it's gonna work like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? He was like, I mean, KJ Osborne is balling right now. So that being said, like, you're gonna be the wide receiver 4 and punt returner. But then, of course, that turned into me strictly playing punt return. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, like, this ain't for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So Minnesota came back to me, like, at the end of the year. Like, I was like, I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm leaving. I don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? And my agent was like, what? They trying to bring, like, they want a futures deal with you. Like, they want to bring you back. And I'm like, hell no. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, it's kind of hard for me to come back to an organization. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, granted, they told me something.
I play receiver. Like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Granted, they've told me something, and now it's a little different than what they kind of said. Like, hell no, like, that it ain't what I want to do. And for me, like, the love of the game at that point, like, from me going from that year 4 to that Minnesota, and it's like, I've never been like a depressed guy. Like, never. Like, I'm always like super energy, high up on everything that I got going on. But bro, I used to go into like my room and like get on the game with my friends know what I'm saying, playing like Call of Duty and
Yeah.
different things like that. And it was like, now that I'm out of that situation, I'm able to go back and be like, bro, I was really depressed.
Yeah, you were just trying to get out of it all. It's like
Yeah,
that was just
like-
like an escape thing.
And then it was like, it got to the point where I wasn't even playing football for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't even playing it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, me being at the University of Oklahoma had tons of fun. You know what I'm saying? Me going my 4 years, 3 years, and me in Jacksonville had loads of fun. But then it was like year 4, rolling over to the Vikings. It was like, this ain't it.
That really changes like the trajectory of things.
Correct.
Not
Like,
just
even
injuries, but personnel. I mean, it's all about who you're around on a daily basis.
Like it's like a mental mind state, man. And it's like you can, and it was like for me, like I didn't have, like it was bad, like because like I was telling you guys before, like I've never had like this year was this past year that just went by. This was my first Christmas and Thanksgiving that I've had in like 10 years, 11 years with my family. This was the first birthday that I've had in the past 11 years, and my family was able to spend it with me because of football. I was always out playing football, like trying to find different ways to survive and provide. And think about me in Jacksonville, my family stayed there with me. When I was in Norman, my family was with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's always been like 5 people that lived in my home with as my family, even when I was in Norman. You know what I'm saying? So they were here. Then when we went to Jacksonville, I got drafted to Jacksonville. They got a U-Haul and drove like 18 hours. You know what I'm saying?
All the way out there.
All the way out there. They hooked the cars onto the back of the U-Haul, drove out there. So it was never like whenever we never talked about football ever. That was the golden rule. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I come home, I don't care if I've had a 65-yard touchdown. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I dropped the game-winning touchdown. We do not talk football. Yeah. The only time we talk football is if I bring it up.
That had to allow you like to decompress and stuff.
Right.
Like you're talking about like having your family there. Like
correct.
You could separate.
That was because my thing was that was the biggest thing. Like even right now today, like I'm just a family oriented person. You get what I'm saying? So it's like we never talked about football like ever. Like while I was at OU, like it's crazy because I was having the year that I was having, and I would go home and it would just be like, Dede, bro, let's play the game, or man, let's go bowling, or let's go. Like we never talked football, and I just went against Texas and had 232 yards and nobody spoke a word about it.
And you're ready to bowling.
You know what I'm saying? We went like bowling. Like it was just, but that's how it is at my house. Like that's even now today. Like it's just the golden rule. We don't talk about it unless I bring it up. Now if I bring it up, man, what the hell was you doing on that one play? You know what I'm saying? But it's just like off the bat, we don't even speak about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like I play football. Football don't play me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's kind of like it's just that golden rule. But it was like when I went to Minnesota, I was on a 1-year deal. So it was no point. My family stayed here in Oklahoma because we had the crib in Edmond. So it was like it was no point for everybody to come out there for me to only be out there for like 5 months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was like during the course of that 5 months, that was the only time I've ever in my life been separated away from my family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like think I went from my hometown at Blinn, that's 40 minutes away. Like I was telling you guys before the show started, I was going home every day, you know, driving 40 minutes before class, you know what I'm saying, and making it at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being able after practice to go home, sleep in my own bed and drive back. I had a dorm and everything. But I was just like, man, I'm not finna be up here. Like, I'm finna go back home.
Yeah.
Then when I came to Norman, my family came with me. So it was like 5 of us in the house together.
Yeah.
So it was like I've always had that peace at home. Like whenever football was tough for me and it was hard, I was always able to go home and see familiar faces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ask them what the hell their problems was. You know what I mean? Instead of everybody asking me what mine is. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like that way for me to step away from football, which I think we all need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then me being in Minnesota was my first time ever being away and having that. So I would literally be in a room like texting in our group message, begging my friends to get on the game because it was like that was my escape.
You want to talk to people.
You get what I'm saying? Like that was my escape because I'm just in like a condo apartment just in there by myself. And I'm like
way far away in Minnesota.
Way in Minnesota.
It's lonely.
And then it's like my family, like Christmas rolls around and like my mother calls and we're like, oh, we got the kids stuff for Christmas. And I'm like, man, I don't even want to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't even want to see it, man. Like, just tell them I love them for real. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like for me, like me seeing that, it's going to make me want to be there. Right. And granted, where I was, mindset-wise, boy, I would leave. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaving. And so them last couple years for me was like, I wasn't even playing ball for me, bro. Like, it was more so like my agent. My agent was like, Dede play. Like, and I know some agents be in it for money, but that's not him, fool. Like, I got a real genuine agent, and he just want what's best for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's always told me, like, Dede, man, if you want to retire, like, let's retire. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've done the right things with the money. Like, let's retire if that's what you want to do. If you don't and you want to go get another check, like, let me know. Like, we can do that too. Like, I'm all for whatever you want to do. So, but he was looking more so like, man, you have all this potential. You got all this talent. Like, bro, like, is it that bad? I said, well, let me lock you in a room all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me lock you in a room all day.
Yeah.
And then when it's time for you to go step on the football field, I'm kind of like, man, like, not really good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just only good enough for punt returner.
Yeah.
Hell no. Like, granted, like, man, I played this game at a high level everywhere I played it at. And not to mention, I am a 800-yard receiver in this league. Like, I'm a 750-yard receiver in this league. Like, shit not easy.
You're capable.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can play this game. I've played it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at this time, I'm like 27, 28 years old, so I'm not, like, old.
By any means, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, for me, it was kind of like, yeah, man, I see what's going on. I get the gist of it. And it's just
I guess, where does that, I mean, with football being, you know, over with, I mean, are you done?
I don't know.
You don't know
I don't
yet?
know.
Well,
Like, I
well,
don't
tell
know.
us
You don't roll
about,
it out, right?
Yeah, tell us about Go Crazy and stuff and what your business ventures are now and you living
Man,
around.
so, yeah, man, I'd be mad. Maybe it's my fault. You know, maybe it's my fault, but I'd be a little upset because I feel like the fans and stuff around here don't even know I stay in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, they be pissing me off.
Well, tell them.
Yeah, man, I'm here. I'm tapped in. Yeah. But they be saying in the movies, we're a lot closer than you thought. Yeah, we're a lot closer than you thought. Yeah. But, man, I'm a native at this point, man. I'm an Oklahoma native, man. I'm living here full time. My kids, man, this is the biggest thing, y'all. It's crazy because I get to say this here. I have a 12-year-old son. My son is 12. I know it's crazy. Yeah, I'm 30. He's 12. It's weird. If y'all good at math, whatever. But yeah, man, he's 12, bro. Like, this Thanksgiving, this is my first Thanksgiving I was able to have, like, with my kids and my family. Man, I seen my son catch the football for the first time.
That's full circle moment, right?
Like, it's crazy. Like, and when I say catch the football, now I'm not saying my son is like awesome, right? I don't want y'all to go look him up and he not playing and y'all be like, wait, what the fuck?
I just checked out his recruiting page.
Yeah,
he 4-star. Like, we're working on that fifth.
And it's like, yeah, Dede, like, man, you know, you came on air and said you seen the dude catch the pass. We thought he was gonna be the next you, and he's not. Like, you know what I'm saying? So with me, just take it with a grain of salt. Like, but when I say he was catching passes, man, like, I'm saying hut and he's running 20, 30 yards down the field and I'm throwing the ball and he's tracking the ball over his shoulder, catching passes. And like, for me, I've never, my closest father figure, man, not even gonna lie to y'all, was Dennis Simmons. You know what I'm saying? That was like the closest person that I had as far as a father figure. Like, I had a dad, obviously, you know, but my dad was incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? Crazy story. It played a part. My dad was incarcerated in El Reno, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was incarcerated. He got incarcerated when I was 12 years old, and he was in. They moved him to like San Antonio. Then he got in some trouble there. Then they moved him to Coleman, Florida's maximum security. Then he stayed there for like 7 years. Then he ended up moving to El Reno, which is, I believe, a medium security. Okay. So while I was playing ball here at OU, my dad was at El Reno's medium security, and it was cool because I mean, I wouldn't say cool, but it was pretty cool because the warden was a huge OU fan.
Yeah.
So I was able to go and see my dad like whenever I wanted.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
it is really cool.
That's big.
Yeah, like, but this was before like I was like who I made myself. I'm just like Dede Westbrook at this point. You know what I'm saying? I haven't caught a pass or anything, but it was like they glorified OU football so much to the point where it was like, dang, like, this your son? Like, they couldn't believe it. Like, they thought my dad was lying. Yeah. And so me and my dad had this little rule. I'm like, man, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to prove to nobody of who I am. Like, or that I'm your son. Like, what? That sounds like the weirdest thing in the world. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't believe you. They don't believe you. Like, obviously, you my dad. Like, why do we have to prove that to anybody? Yeah. But then I started going up there and visiting them, and they was seeing me, and they was like, oh, snap. So he used to tell me, like, man, they treat me like a celebrity in here, you know. But then it got to the point where I didn't have to go through security. You know, they were kind of like, I had my own room, like, you know, most, like, you sit in a lobby with everybody in there. Me and him would be isolated in, like, our own room. Like, we were just kind of able to do whatever we want throughout that process. So, obviously, I had a dad, you know, but he wasn't there for me throughout my childhood growing up because of whatever, you know what I'm saying, he was doing. But my son, obviously I'm throwing him the balls, man, and me being able to experience that moment with him, it was like a surreal moment. It's like, damn, like,
Yeah.
he really tracking down and catching the football.
Showing the intangible. I mean, he's only 12, but like,
right.
there,
and then I'm telling him to run a slant, and he catching the football like with his hands, you know, on the slant. And I'm like, okay, man. And so it's big now because it's like my kids are moving here. So my daughter already stayed here, Hayden. She's already stayed here with me. And then so my other 3, they're moving here after this school year, you know, and their mother is letting them move here because the deal was, you know, she didn't want them to come before because she was just like, Dede, you spend so much time, like, you don't know what you want to do as far as football and life, the last thing I want to do is send my kids out there for you to kind of be with them, and then you go and you playing ball. Yeah. Like, it's kind of pointless, you know. And so after this year, this semester's over with, you know, they're going to be moving here, and so my son, I'm enrolling him in more public schools to play like football there, and I'm excited about it because it's like now I get to go and be a fan of you, and it's just so crazy because it's like I walk in on him at times, you know, my Big 12 championship rings are like at the house, and he'll have them on his finger, you know what I'm saying? I walk into my office and he's watching like my highlights. But then he kind of pissed me off, right? Because he quick to say, CD Lamb's better than you. You know what I'm saying?
That's cold.
Shout out CD. But, you know, he'll be like, CD Lamb's better than you. Like, he's so much better than you. And he kind of be like, he kind of say his things. And he was like, telling me what he wanted. And he wanted CD Lamb jersey. You know what I'm saying? So, I ain't going to lie to you, CD. I don't know how it really makes me feel. But, yeah, but, you know, like, he wanted CD Lamb jersey. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of like where we are with it. But man, I'm super excited for that moment, man. Like,
maybe I'll pick up that receiver's job at Moore again. That'll be really full circle for you.
Yeah, that'll be dope.
You used to see me and Drake when we were younger, catch the ball and stuff. That's
man, it's crazy, man. So I'm super excited about that, man. That's one of the things that I'm kind of looking forward to. Like, he calls me every day, telling me, he's like, "You sure Mom's gonna let me come?" And I'm like, yeah, I think. Yeah, I think she is, man. She sounds like she's for it right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's a really cool story. Yeah. You know, just seeing him and just showing that kind of like a full circle moment. Right. And then kind of like what Isaac mentioned earlier. So, like, you know, you have a food truck, right?
Right.
And then how's that going? Like, you know, what are you kind of doing? What kind of business?
Man, so I have a trucking company right now. All this I'm planning on like going crazy for 2024. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy, like
I'm talking about real. Like next level go crazy though. Like, I'm trying to scale everything up, man. One of the biggest things, my biggest goal for myself here, you know, and obviously with this platform, me saying this out publicly, man, I want to get a indoor sports complex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanna get a go crazy indoor sports complex, but I also want to build my real estate portfolio. So for this year, you know, I want to go and buy like 4 or 5 multi-unit apartment complexes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's my real estate, like growing that crazy. I have 2 semi trucks right now, and I want to scale it up to 10. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I want to do that throughout the month of April. I'm gonna buy 8 more trucks. Also, you know, from April till whenever it's possible, probably before the end of the year, I want to have 5 multi-unit apartment complexes, about 17 units. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then also I have my detailing service, you know, so that's pretty much going. But the things that I want to do is scale up the real estate. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm into real estate, but I'm not into it to the point where it's making me money.
And that's what you want to get to that.
So I bought my,
a lot of effort, yeah. Like, once you can just let it sit there and just make you money.
See, because like right now, like I bought a home for my mother. Like when I got drafted, what was that, back in 2017? So 2018, I bought my mother a home out in Texas, where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? And of course, that was like before COVID. Yeah. So now that home she got a nice home. I bought her a home on a golf course out there. And I ended up paying like $200,000 for the home, but now the home is worth $415,000. You know what I'm saying? But my mother's living in it, so it's like I can't like. So it don't really do me any good. Like, of course, there's a ton of equity though. Yeah, there's a ton of equity in it, but it don't really do me any good. But I have a farm out in Texas as well too. You know what I'm saying? I bought a farm. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I was just out there. Like, I was like, oh, like this is a nice piece of land for me to bring my horses. So I bought land. You know, it was 2 acres. It was like wooded from front to back. So I ended up knocking off all the trees or whatever. I ended up putting a pond on it, fenced it all the way around, put my own private driveway on there, a gate on it, put a barn-dominium, 2,500 square foot barn-dominium. It's a 6 stalls, feed tack room with a living headquarters, restroom in it. Man, it's pretty dope, you know. But it's like that, right? And it don't make me any money. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like just there, and now everything that I have that was there is moving here. Yeah. So it's kind of like there's no point in it, right? So I'm into real estate, like saying it, and I have my home here, but it's like I'm not making any money off of the real estate. So it's like now I'm going to take this year to make this money work for me in that real estate world. You know what I'm saying? So sure. I plan on buying me 5 apartment complexes, like 17 unit apartment complexes, letting that work for me. And I already got the semi trucks going, got the food truck, and got the detailing company. I want to do a brick and mortar food place, but I don't want it to be a sit down restaurant.
Like a quick service.
Yeah. I want it to be like an order to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like whenever you kind of got to sit down, there's a lot to go into it.
Yeah. You know, you got to hire people to clean it.
That's what I'm saying. But I know I can still put my people in position to do it if there's just 2 people, right? Somebody working the register and somebody cooking. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when you go in and you got to sit down, now you got different employees,
it's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot that go into it, you know, and it's like I don't want to be into it that much to the point. So I just wanted to do something like small, just like order to go.
I think that's the model to do.
Right.
What kind of food is it?
Well, right now we got comfort food, so it's more like a soul food. We have catfish, Cajun pasta, shrimp, mac and cheese, yams, green beans, chicken and waffles. Man, it's a variety of stuff. It's some good food too.
I'm getting really
crazy thing is I don't even eat seafood. I've never had it before. How does that
work? You're like the people want it, so like put it up on the menu or what?
But the thing is, like, the chef at the time ate a lot of
seafood.
Right. And so she was like, I think we should put this. And I'm like, shit, okay. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's good. So then I had my brother right there, and all he does is eat, you know? And so he ate it, and he was like, man, this shit is good. I'm like, well, let's put it on the menu then. Yeah. I trust your taste buds.
Yeah. You're well versed.
So, I mean, and we just kind of went from there. But I want to do this little brick and mortar spot, and I want to add wings to that. I'm buying a recipe from a guy in Jacksonville. His name is Chef Cartel. I'm giving him a little shout out. But Chef Cartel, man, it's a wing spot out there that's super good. And it's on like a food truck, you know. And I talked to him probably about a week ago, and he told me he'll sell me that recipe for a little bit of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I'm like, man, like, that's all I be craving. Like, right now, I be going to Louis. And it's like, I be trying to find these wings, right? Like, I'm always, like, trying to find something. Like, because, you know, you connect with food. I don't care who you are. There's something that you connect with. A lot of people connect with food. Like, they go different places. They have the food, and they be like, man, this is the best food I've ever had. For me, like, I do the same thing, but it'd be, like, with different things. I'm a very picky eater. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I've never ate a salad before in my life. I've never ate tomatoes.
I don't be eating salad.
Yeah, I've never ate asparagus. None of that shit.
I remember Tiff was having quite the time trying to make you eat back in college. Like, she was like force feeding you. Like,
man, it's crazy because Coach T, I lost my tooth.
Oh, that's what it was too. Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Coach T became like really, really, really close. The Akron game, I was supposed to wear a mouthpiece, but I've never worn a mouthpiece. Yeah. And, you know, Shep, Baker, all those guys was like, yeah, this ain't no damn junior college football. This is big boy football. You need to wear a mouthpiece. Yeah, next play, get my tooth knocked out. Damn. Yeah, Dr. Snape.
That happened to Drake this year in practice.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Not wearing his mouthpiece either. Was sitting there dangling off his face mask.
Like,
and
it looks cool, though.
It was in his hand, and he was just like, he looked tough as shit.
So that's my same situation. And so I was on a liquid diet. Okay. That's all I can drink. I wouldn't say eat, but that was all I can like drink. And so me and Coach T became really close because I used to have like 6 meals a day, but it would all be liquidy. So the things that I would say that I didn't like, she would put them in a damn diet. But it tasted good because she filled it up with Reese's, which is my favorite candy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it just tastes like a Reese's milkshake. But as far as like the foods, like, I'm very picky, man. So like I don't eat what most people eat. Very easy going, like Fruity Pebbles. Like, I get full off a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, like I wake up in the morning, like I eat gourmet donuts every morning. Like every morning that I wake up. Every morning. Like if I don't have it, like it's not a good day for me.
I'm pretty well versed in donuts, and it is the best donuts.
Like, bro,
around
if
here.
y'all go in Gourmet's Donuts, like, obviously we talking to Norman people. If y'all go in Gourmet Donuts, my jersey is hanging up in there. Like, the food is that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gave them a jersey. You know what I'm saying? For crying out loud.
No, it really that good.
Like, it's good. So every morning I eat donuts, bro. If I don't have my donuts, it's gonna be a shitty day for me.
Yeah.
So every morning I get 6 glazed donuts heated up.
That's
They heat them up for you?
Yep, with a Gatorade every morning. Every morning I got it. It's a must have for me, or it's a bad day. You know, so
fair enough.
yeah. So I eat donuts, corn dogs. You know what I'm saying? Mozzarella sticks, hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? That's me. That's
Brahms.
You know what I'm saying? Like a cheeseburger, McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's pretty much me. Like all the other stuff, like the Heisman experience was crazy. They was eating steaks on chips.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like they was everybody's at the dinner table eating steaks on chips. Yeah. And like, I mean, maybe I've made it difficult, but I was like, they was like, Dede, you're not going to eat? And I'm like, hell no. Like, I don't even know what this is. So they had a guy run to McDonald's and give me McDonald's. So while everybody's eating steaks on chips, I got McDonald's double quarter pounder right here.
That's wild.
I wish I had a picture of that.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Like y'all all dressed up.
Yeah.
And then like everybody's eating steak, and then you just got like
a double quarter pounder, mayo and cheese only.
That's funny.
Yeah. Don't eat no tomatoes, no onions, none of that. Never had it before ever.
No. Tisha blended that up in a shake.
But it was dope though. So now like these wings that I'm talking about, I be going to Louis. Louis kind of like the closest thing to it almost. They got the jumbo bone-in wings.
Yeah.
Like
we used to get those at Football Catered.
Yeah, so they're good, but man, this guy, like the wings, the seasoning on there is like crazy. It's like that lingering taste. You know what I'm saying? Like you could taste it like 2 days afterwards and be like, dang, I want this again.
Yeah.
Like I used to eat them every day in Jacksonville. Like I find something that I connect with and I just eat it every day. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm going to Louis with you soon. I haven't been there in a minute.
Yeah. So the jumbo bone-in wings, man, like I want to do something like that. So I want to kind of add that to that menu as well too. So
and like you said, if it's something you want too,
right?
Like
I mean, everything that I do, everything that I do is kind of like me. Y'all should see me drive a semi truck.
You got your CDL,
man.
That's wild.
I mean, we ain't gonna say that.
Yeah.
But I just driving around my backyard though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not out. I promise y'all.
No.
I'm not out in the street driving. I'm in my backyard.
I think that's all the time we have for everything today.
Yeah, I think it was a good interview. We might have been in here a good hour
and
a half.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a gift for y'all too, man. I'm going to bring a gift by here. I know it's tough because I'm not able to do it on air, you know what I'm saying, which would be a lot cooler. But I'm going to have a jersey. I don't know if they can kind of stitch that in. Maybe.
For sure,
Make it,
we can do something.
We'll figure something out.
And then we'll throw it in the back every time.
Right. That'll be dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let it hang up. So, really what I'm trying to do, and I want this to be on the air, I want to set the standards for the guys who coming in. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, like, when you come, bring something.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Yeah,
right, like it's just a gift for y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then I think it'll be pretty cool. Y'all whole, like, wall decked out and whoever you guys interviewed. So tell Drake, bring his ass on. Yeah, we need a jersey.
Don't call him after this.
Yeah, Drake, we need a jersey. Dede kind of set the standard, so this is where we are with it.
Say less.
About to go knock on his door for it after this.
Down the street.
So it's ready. But we appreciate everybody for listening today. Remember to like and subscribe to the Sooner Scoop page, and we'll be back next week with another show. Remember to keep it in the family.